tell our audience what makes this house sustainable?
It uses very little energy to start with, and that's a really important thing. So the whole house is designed to heat and cool itself. So we're reducing the amount of energy that goes into heating and cooling massively. We don't actually use any energy to heat or cool it other than what comes in naturally from the sunlight. So that's 100% reduction in terms of carbon emissions. The other thing that makes it sustainable is the issue of water, that we're collecting all of our water needs on site, treating them all on site, and then releasing them on site.
I can't see any tank. Where is the water?
The water just it falls out of the sky as rain, lands on the roof, and then it's directed from there into an underground tank.
Underground tank?
So we've got 90,000 litres of water underground.
That sounds great.
And that's all of our drinking water.
Oh yeah. It's drinkable as well?
So we've disconnected from the water network that typically comes from dammed rivers.
Yeah.
Like the Cotter, the Murrumbidgee.
Yes. So you are disconnected
We're disconnected from those, even though we're in a city.
So you provide your own water?
We do.
It's really
and that's a really, it's a really green, a really sustainable aspect, because it's reducing the impact on the rivers. You know, damming rivers has a really big impact.
Yes.
There's a lot of energy in the construction of dams and things like that.
Yeah, it's like the house is self-sufficient.
That's
right.
Of
water.
Yeah. So it's almost like an autonomous house. But then we treat it all on site, and we're using that. All of that water ultimately is going out into the gardens, and a lot of it is going into food production.
Oh, that sounds great.
So converting water to food.
Oh,
And that's another area that the house is very sustainable, in that we're producing as much of our food, vegetables, fruit,
in that garden?
in our garden out there.
Oh yeah.
So that means we're turning food miles, you know, the travel and the carbon cost that comes with producing food, we're reducing those down to food metres.
Instead of miles.
Instead of food miles. So I've only got to walk out the back door into the garden, and there's the food.
That's great.
So that's something that everyone can do. With regard to energy too, we generate all of our electricity from solar.
So you are not connected to any electricity
company? We're actually connected to the grid.
Yeah.
So at the moment when the sun's not shining, we can draw on the grid. It's a bit like a battery, I guess, in a way. But by day when the sun's shining, we're generating and we're putting that electricity into the grid, and everyone in the area can use that. And we've got the energy use of the house so low that we generate about twice what we need in the house.
Okay. Then what happened to the rest?
The rest is going out into the network, into the grid, and it's available for local residents to use. That's good, isn't it?
Yes. Then apart from that, do you have any other thing? I think I saw your toilet.
Yeah, that's sort of relating to nutrient and water. So we've got a waterless composting toilet. That's the first and only approved composting toilet in Canberra, in the residential.
The first one in Canberra?
Yeah.
So far?
Yes.
Wow, that sounds great.
And that's keeping all of the nutrient on site, which typically would go down rivers. And then there's pollution issues with the nutrient in rivers. There's blue-green algae outbreaks, secondary pollution with fish kills and things like that. Water quality drops.
Yes, that sounds great.
So that's thinking about the people downstream users as well. And it's keeping all that nutrient on site. You can put that into the garden. You've got to be very careful and comply with health conditions there.
Yes.
But we can tap into that nutrient to grow the fruit trees and the food on site, which links back to that food mile reduction. Food miles to food metres,
Sounds great. Yeah. Can you tell me what do you think are the benefits of living in this kind of environment, living green like this?
It's comfortable. So this time of the year, when it's still quite cool outside, all the way through winter, because we're in a cold climate here in Canberra, it feels comfortable. So there's a comfort. There's a satisfaction that comes from knowing that you're not polluting because you've got the design and the construction in the right way. And then there's, associated with that, you've got less carbon emission. So you're having a positive impact on a global scale by reducing your carbon emission. And if every house did this, then we'd dramatically bring down our carbon emissions. And we wouldn't have all the issues with sea level rise, ice cap melting, oceans becoming more acidic.
Do you think there is a problem with the cost of building this kind of house or changing the existing one to a sustainable house like this?
There is an
issue. Is it really expensive?
It's not that expensive and the costs are coming down. There was a time, certainly when we built, which is about 4 or 5 years ago, when the costs were relatively expensive, but they were probably only 20 to 30% more than a standard house. There were other costs with us because we had to get approvals from government, and that took time. So there was some costs associated with that extra time that it took to get those approvals to construct. But a lot of this technology is becoming mainstream now. You know, like the solar, electrical type stuff, the solar hot water systems. That technology is improving. Yeah, it's improving. It's more widely available, and market forces are driving that cost down. So it's the supply and demand.
Do you think there is a long-term benefits in terms of financial benefits?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is. And there's been research carried out quite some time ago actually into the star rating system, the energy efficiency rating system for houses. So houses that had more stars, that were more energy efficient, got better resale values. So for people that are concerned about the cost, I think they can have faith that when they come to sell, that they can get a...
So they can get the extra 30% that they've spent, they can recover it back.
Absolutely.
As soon as possible.
I think they'll recoup more than they spent.
Even more than they spent?
I think so, yeah. And we're moving into a period now where people are increasingly demanding more efficient, more comfortable, cheaper to run houses.
Oh, that's good.
And that means there'll be a demand for houses, for people that have made the effort to make the house energy efficient, water efficient, comfortable, cheaper to operate. Then there'll be they will get a better resale value, which is a positive thing from that aspect.
Can you tell me more about the energy consumption in terms of what you get from the solar energy?
Yep, I can.
Yeah, on a daily basis or monthly basis, or when?
We've got a target at the moment for our electricity use in the house of around 4 kilowatt hours. That's 4,000 watts per day. Yeah. So that's our target, and that's a European best practice sort of target at the moment, a 4 kilowatt hour house,
4 kilowatts.
Or 4,000 watts. We're coming in around 4.6, so we're about 600 watts over that 4,000, which is pretty good. Most average Australian houses are using about 18,000 to 20,000, and we're down around the 4.6 kilowatt hours. We're generating anywhere from, up to 10, at this time of the year, around 10 to 12 kilowatt hours a day. So we're generating, I guess, over an annual period, twice what we actually use in the house off our solar system. We could use that extra energy to drive an electric car if we wanted to. We do about 8,000 kilometres.
Do you have an electric car?
We've got a petrol electric at the moment, so it's a hybrid vehicle. But we're very keen and excited to move into plug-in electric vehicles. So you can charge off solar panels and run your car as a zero-emission vehicle. There's not even, with a lot of them, not even brake dust coming off the brakes because they're using regenerative braking. So the momentum of the vehicle and turning the electric motor into a generator and putting that energy back into the battery pack so you can drive the car further.
How do you feel? Because I think this effort should be a collective effort of all of us. What advice will you give to our people in terms of sustainable living? How will you encourage them to join you in working towards the same goal that we are trying to protect our planet?
Everyone's got a personal responsibility to play, and I agree with what you're saying. It's got to be a collective. It can't just be me and you and no one else. It's got to be everyone pulling their weight, playing their part. And there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot, we talked about the comfort of a home that's energy efficient. There's a lot of satisfaction from growing your own food. There's a social aspect as well, with community gardens and helping out people. So you develop a much friendlier and caring, sharing sort of community, I think. So there's a very strong and important social aspect to sustainability as well, at a local level, but also at that global level. So helping countries and cultures that are being impacted by climate change right now. Like there's islands in and around Papua New Guinea that are going under right now because the sea level is rising. So we have a responsibility as a community to help those people, not just for their immediate issues of how do they resettle and where do they go, but about addressing our emissions right here, right now, so that there's not more of that in the future. It's a challenge to work out how to actually get people engaged with it. I think, I'm not sure that I've got the magic answer for how to. Perhaps when people see that happening, that might be enough to spur people into.
And the journals
That's
walking towards the same goal.
Absolutely. It's a pretty exciting future, I think. There's great technology, people have there's a drive. So.
I just wish they can remember that whatever we do now will affect the new generation to come, our children's children. So we just don't live to enjoy all the goodies and leave them to someone in the future.
That's right.
So nice chatting with you today.
Thank you.
I'm very encouraged and I'm very impressed to be in your house and to see how sustainable it is.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
You have a nice day.